the start of the year, I predicted these 5 total return stocks were the ones to watch in 2024. It's time to put that prediction to the test. Hold on to your seatbelts, folks. This is going to be a good one. It is that time of year where it is fun to look forward and see just what the next year has in store for us. However, we're not going to do that today. Instead, let's look back at stocks I predicted for this year and see if I am full of it or maybe a little profit inspired. Before we get to those predictions, I want to share with you just how I came up with the list. There was no crystal balls, soothsayers, or dreams involved with these predictions. In fact, the closest I came to numerology is, well, real math and a little something called fundamental analysis. Strong fundamentals coming into 2024 means the probabilities were stacked in my favor for a favorable outcome. Of course, just how do we measure if I hit or miss on these predictions? For that, we need a benchmark, and the TSX should fit that bill. We're actually going to use the S&P TSX Composite Index so that it also takes into consideration dividends. In 2024, the TSX Composite Index has returned a very nice looking 17.37%. So now we have the benchmark. 17.3% is the number to beat. So if all 5 stocks beat 17.37%, it is a no-brainer, and I will bask in the limelight for sure. However, what if all of them do not beat that number? You can't beat a sub to the channel to ensure future content. Obviously, if they all miss, I failed these predictions big time. I would also argue that hitting just 1 or 2 of these stocks could also be argued as a failure. The goal of a good investor should be to hit more often than they miss. So 3 out of 5 is technically a pass, but honestly, I have higher standards. I want better. The fundamentals going into this were good, so I will not accept anything short of a 4 out of 5 or better as a successful prediction. These predictions were from a video that was released on January 9th of 2024. So of course, feel free to go back and check that one out if you want to. Normally, I like to sort these by total return. However, that would kill the suspense pretty fast. So we will instead sort these alphabetically by their ticker. Oh boy, this one has me a little nervous. Without any further ado, let's do this. I had predicted that Cipher Pharmaceuticals with a ticker of CPH was getting set to own 2024. This company is out of Mississauga, and they're a specialty pharmaceutical company with a wide range of pharmaceutical products. Now, on January 2nd, 2024, their price was listed at $5.52 per share. Let's take a look at that current price. It's coming in at $14.69. So that, my friends, is a return on investment of 166.12%. Holy banana bread. I think this one is going in the win column. This is a great way to start. This is a really good way to start. Now, they do not have a dividend. Their total return, so it's the same. It's 166.12%. That's pretty darn good. One of the statistics I did use to help narrow down these predictions last year was the return on equity, and that is coming in right now at 17.98%. It is a bit down from last year, so we can see that this incredible growth is weakening a wee bit for sure. Their return on assets coming in at 5.05%, and they do have a debt to equity ratio of 41.22%. This is not a stock that will make my 2025 prediction list for sure, as I can see a slowdown coming for them. And I still think they will do fine in the coming year, but I think the huge growth is behind us for now. So as I said a moment ago, we are off to a great start with a prediction hit to get the ball rolling. Up next, I chose ADF Group Incorporated with a ticker of DRX. And this one, it almost feels like it might be a miss, as they did fall hard in the second half of the year. They are based out of Quebec, and this is a design and engineering company that specializes in connections, fabrication, industrial coating, and installation of steel structures, as well as other metal work. So coming into 2024 on January 2nd, they had a price of $7, and their current price, well, this is promising. It's $10.19. So that's a return on investment of 45.57% on the year. They did much better than I was thinking. I think I'm kind of was focusing on that drop in the second half of the year because that was a little on the epic side. When it comes to dividends, they do have a yield of 0.393%. It's a semi-annual dividend of 2 cents per share. Payout ratio on that 1.22%, but that does take their total return up to 46%. That's not too shabby. Their return on equity coming in at 37.06%. Return on assets, another nice number, 16.20%. Debt to equity ratio, nice and low, 32.32%. ADP Group is maybe one of the more interesting ones, as they did absolutely explode into 2024. And at one point, they peaked up at $20.80, which is pretty impressive. However, they corrected big time, and their fall certainly shook out some investors for sure. But the question becomes, where do they go from here? I'm still bullish on them, as I think this correction will be good for the company to settle into some good growth over 2025. I do think that most of their crazy growth is behind them. In 2023, they had a total return of 217.78%. And I don't see those numbers happening again, but I do think they may outperform the market in 2025. We are on a roll for sure, as we are now 2 hits to 0 misses. Can we keep this momentum up? I have been bullish on those Hammond companies for a long time, and it is no surprise that one of them made the list last year. Hammond Power Solutions Incorporated, with a ticker of HPS.A, was my Hammond bet for 2024. Based out of Guelph, Ontario, they're all about making custom liquid-filled distribution and power transformers, as well as standard electrical transformers as well. They entered the year January 2nd, 2024, with a price of $78.50, and their current price is sitting at $126.59. That is a return on investment of 61.26%. This one is definitely not a surprise. I will say that. They do have a dividend with a yield of 0.869%, quarterly dividend of 27.5 cents per share. Payout ratio on that, 14.91%. So that puts their total return at 62.50%. The return on equity, still healthy looking, 27.71%. Return on assets, 14.15%. And that debt to equity ratio, not a lot of debt, 13.21%. I am still bullish on the Hammond companies, and HPS.A had a fantastic year. They had a big correction in the spring, but they have shown resilience as they continue to move up in the second half of the year. I am looking forward to seeing HPS.A as a steady choice for growth, as once again, they are still in a high demand position, and that will serve them well into 2025. Wow, we have 3 hits and no misses. Could this be a sweep? Or did I just jinx myself by saying that? Up next, I chose North American Construction Group Limited with a ticker of NOA. This Alberta-based company specializes in equipment maintenance, mining, and heavy construction services in Canada, the US, as well as Australia. On January 2nd, 2024, they entered the year with a price of $27.70. Their current price, oh, this is not looking good, $29.14. That gives us a return on investment of 5.20%. This could spell a miss. I'm not liking this. Maybe their dividend could save us. We have a yield of 1.647%. That's a quarterly dividend of 12 cents a share. I just don't think that's going to be enough. The payout ratio on that, by the way, 21.05%. But that does take that total return up to 6.64%. Yikes, that is a miss for sure. Their return on equity coming in at 15.56%. Return on assets, 8.24%. And oh boy, their debt, look at this, debt to equity ratio, 212.25%. The story of 2024 was not a great one for this company as their fundamentals fell and their debt to equity ratio almost doubled. This one failed me. Even though they stayed in the green, the TSX still outperformed them. Moving into 2025, this is one I do not remain bullish on, and I really hope they surprise me again, but I'm not counting on it. So we now sit at 3 hits and 1 miss. And as I said earlier, I need at least 4 hits, or I am declaring that prediction video a huge failure. Oh boy, this could be interesting. So much suspense. Everything hinges on TerraVest Industries with a ticker of TVK. We got another company out of Alberta, and this one is a manufacturer of home heating products, which includes propane, ammonia, natural gas transport vehicles, storage vessels, energy processing equipment, and fiberglass storage. Let's see how they did. January 2nd, 2024, they entered this year with a price of $43.70. Their current price, ooh, I like this number, $114.71. That's a return on investment of 162.49%. I think I'm smelling victory. They do have a dividend, a yield of 0.61%. That's a quarterly dividend of 17.5 cents per share. Their payout ratio, 18.24%, and their total return after we add in those dividends, 163.87%. Their return on equity, 24.63%, and a return on assets of 10.06%. Debt to equity ratio, 71.72%. This is a company that improved their fundamentals over the year with a higher ROE and a significantly smaller debt to equity ratio. I do like what I see here, and I think this is one that will carry into 2025. They may not have as big of a year, but then again, there is potential there. Our final tally is 4 hits and 1 miss. So that video back in January of 2024 was definitely a success. Phew. I will be releasing a new version of that video for 2025, as this was a lot of fun, and I want to do it again next year for sure. If you are interested in any of these companies, don't forget to put in a whole heaping helping of due diligence before you place any of your hard-earned money on the table. Let's continue that learning journey by checking out this video on Enbridge. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.